Hello, everybody. My name is James Kukola. I'm an Executive Director of Communications with the BC General Employees Union. Before we begin, I want to note some technical details. So I will be passing the microphone off to Paul Finch, the President of the BCGU, in just a moment, where he will give a statement on the events of today, and then we'll open up the floor to questions from reporters. For those of you who did not get a copy of the report that was issued today by the BCGU, you can get one in person here, or you can request one from communications@bcgu.ca. Any reporters who are tuning into the live stream, if you have a question, you can submit the questions directly to communications@bcgeu.ca, and I will read them out for you for the bargaining committee and Paul to answer. So at this point, I will now pass the microphone off to Paul Finch. Thank you so much.
Thanks, James. Thank you. Good morning. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Thanks for all of you on the live stream. And my name is Paul Finch. I'm the president of the BC General Employees Union. I'm also the chair of our Public Service Bargaining Committee. And standing with me and behind me are the members of your Public Service Bargaining team, as well as our BCGU staff. And standing behind all of us are over 34,000 members of the public service who have watched over the past 6 months as we've engaged in negotiations with the employer, trying to get a fair deal that recognizes the needs that we've identified for members that perform critical functions here in the public service across the province. And so this morning, after 6 months of negotiations, including intensive wage negotiations starting in the second week of June, we walked away from the table and declared impasse. We did that. We do not take that action lightly, but we did that after the employer, the government, failed to move meaningfully on the asks that were critically important to our members. I just want to talk a bit about what that means and what that is. Over the past 15 years, we've seen a dramatic increase, 52% increase in the size of excluded management inside the public service, while at the same time, frontline workers have been asked to do more with less. We've seen an increase of approximately 28% over that same time period that barely tracks with the increase in the population here in British Columbia. But more importantly, over that period, and this is a period in which housing affordability has become one of the main drivers of inequality in our province, we've seen our members actually fall behind. The majority of our members fall behind inflation. Our members have given us a clear message. That's unacceptable. And we've been engaged with the employer in negotiations to try and reach a deal that meaningfully addresses those concerns, and we're too far apart. And so I just want to talk a bit about what that means. The employer's last offer to us, tabled, had a general wage increase of 1.5% in the first year and 2% in the second year. That's not acceptable. But more importantly, they're refusing to address some of the key items, such as basic telework protections, a removal of an outdated and broken public service job evaluation plan, as well as several other provisions. So your bargaining team has been working incredibly hard. We know and we've clearly identified the priorities of our membership across the province. We've extensively surveyed them. We've talked to them directly across the province, and we've got a very clear mandate here. And despite having a clear mandate, we have not seen significant movement from the employer. That means that we've made the difficult decision to declare impasse, and we will be going to our members for a strike vote in the coming weeks to have a strong mandate to go back and get the deal that our members deserve. Thank you. So I think we're going to open up for questions now.
Yeah, I'm hearing that so some people are already getting strike notices. Is this true?
We have not served strike notice. So yeah, that's not true.
Okay, and what would you consider a fair deal? Like, obviously, what was it, 3.5% over 2 years is what the government had offered, I believe, at the last, or that was their initial offer. What exactly are you looking for? Is this just wages that you need, or is this, obviously you talked about telework agreements. Like, what else is in there that could like non-wage things? Is there benefits at question, things like that?
Look, when it comes to the non-monetary aspects of what our members have asked for, there's a few key asks. One of them is a removal of the public service job evaluation plan. This is a broken plan and has created incredible compression. It has also significantly devalued the work our members do. A wildfire fighter in this province, fighting fires right now, up in northern BC, for example, is making $28 an hour because of this job evaluation plan. It's unacceptable. It's outdated. It does not reflect the work we do across the civil service. It needs to go. When it comes to the monetary aspects, we need to acknowledge the affordability crisis is in place. And so what we're asking for is a deal that acknowledges the effect and the impact of inflation, and certainly 1.5% with some other small inducements is not keeping up with inflation. We need a deal that meaningfully addresses the affordability crisis we're in. And I want to say this, and this is reflected in our proposals, which we're going to release in detail to our members before we go to a strike vote. We've proposed targeting adjustments to specifically towards our members who are at the lowest paid ends of the spectrum. And that includes, as I mentioned, wildfire fighters who are among the lowest paid employees in the entire government.
Can I just follow that up with one follow-up? So I asked about the compensation that BCGEU is looking for. So obviously BCGEU had publicized the figure that was offered to you by the government. What was the counteroffer? Like what was the wage counteroffer?
Yeah. So our counteroffer with, again, targeted occupational adjustments and inducements, but aside from that, was 4% in the first year and 4.25% with a COLA protection in the second year.
Okay.
So as you can imagine, we're significantly apart there. Do we have any other remote questions or?
We have no other remote questions at this point, but maybe you want to talk a little bit about what members can expect coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. So today we've reached impasse with the employer. What that means is that in the coming days and weeks, we're going to be communicating fulsomely with all of our membership in the public service about what we've tabled or what the employer's tabled, but also more importantly, preparing for a strike vote, what the next steps are, what that looks like. We want to make sure that each and every one of our members is enfranchised to be able to vote. So it's really important that everyone watching this stream check your emails. Make sure if you're not getting emails from the BCGEU that you're registered. That's incredibly important as well. We need to ensure that everyone is able to get all the information that they need to make an informed decision on a strike vote. And we're going to be communicating to people what it looks like. So look, there's a lot of new members of the public service, a lot of people who have not seen this process before. And so we're going to be explaining how this works, what the process to take a strike vote looks like, as well as what the steps are and eventual steps are once we've conducted and finished a strike vote. So that's there's been an incredible amount of hard work that's been put into that, and so everyone can expect to get those details later.
Follow-up question for that. So as I recall, the last strike, I think was that 2022?
2022.
And that involved, it was sort of graduated. There was liquor store employees, like the distribution employees that were involved. Like, is there a plan in place for what a strike would look like already, or is that something that's going to be developed in the coming weeks?
In 2022, there was a 2.5-week strike involving the 3 liquor and cannabis distribution warehouses. This round, we don't have a strike mandate. All I'll say is that we're very prepared to take whatever job action is necessary to achieve a fair deal for our members. I want to emphasize here that reaching impasse today does not mean that we are going to be on strike right away. So first, we're going to take the time to be able to provide our members with the information they need to make an informed decision on a strike vote. Next, we will ask our members to vote over a period of weeks. And finally, once we receive the results of that strike vote, we will seek to go back to the table with the employer, if they're willing, to try and achieve a fair deal for our membership.
I have another question. If once the two offers were exchanged, the initial offer from the province and then the counteroffer, did the two sides come back to the table and have discussions after that? What did those discussions look like? Was there any talk about how much room there was? How did that part of the process go?
Absolutely. So look, we've been in wage negotiations with the employer since the second week of June. And what we've seen, we haven't seen any meaningful movement. This bargaining team has been working incredibly hard, and I want to give a lot of credit and shout out to the work of the staff and the team here. They've been working late nights every night to try and move towards a deal. We haven't seen significant movement on the key priorities that matter to our members, in particular wages. And if we look at yesterday, for example, we'll take Wednesday, for example. This committee was working till midnight, ensuring that we were examining all the proposals that were there. We've gone over our entire package. Yesterday, we met with the employer, and we received, frankly, a wage counter that was not substantively different than the prior wage counter we got. And so we met again last night with the employer at around 9 p.m. And we also did not see any substantive movement from the employer last night at 9 p.m. Instead, we got into a conversation with the employer about whether or not a wildfire fighter sleeping in a tent on a fire line was entitled to travel status. And it's the employer's position that they're not, because they think that a tent is the approved lodgings they provided to revoke that status from them. So the priorities, I think, of the employer side are completely out of touch with, I think, not just our membership, but frankly, British Columbians. So we made the difficult decision this morning after that last pass last night to declare impasse at the table. We're just too far apart. We've been going at this for 6 months, and we've been negotiating wages for over a month, and we're just way too far apart right now.
Just a couple of technical questions. How many people are impacted by this? How many employees? How many workers? And why is this 2-year agreement instead of a 3-year agreement like it was last time?
Look, so we've got approximately 34,000 members across the province. Obviously, we have a lot of seasonal auxiliary employees that make up a portion of that. But I'm going to say more broadly, this impacts many more workers across the province. What I'll say though is that this 2-year agreement, we believe, is a mandate government has come out with. Obviously, we're going to bargain. We're not opposed to a 2-year agreement in this time frame. We've actually responded with an offer that is in line with that 2-year period.
I think we have a question from CTV.
How do you feel being in this position that you're in, and can you tell us how soon the strike vote could occur?
Absolutely. So look, it's an incredibly difficult position that any group of workers make to vote to take job action. Like I said, we're not at a job action place yet. We've reached impasse, and we are now going to go educate our membership, inform them, and then give them the information they need to make an informed decision about whether or not to authorize a job action should it be necessary. So look, this is a very difficult position for everyone. No one wants to see a strike. It's a very difficult thing to do. But at the same time, we have a very clear mandate from our members. Their needs have been clearly articulated. They have clear affordability needs. They're not being addressed, and there's some clear language in this agreement that needs to be addressed that has not been addressed. So while we're obviously, we're very cautious when we take these steps, I can say that we're all incredibly confident here that the position we've taken is strongly supported by our membership.
Any further questions? Okay, and that's all we have for questions today.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks, appreciate it.